You might feel drained, and not because you're doing too much, but because you're abandoning yourself. And this isn't just about your job. It's about how you're living, how you're showing up in your relationships, whether you're tuning into your intuition or tuning it out. Reclaiming your power? Well, that's a skill worth mastering at any age and in any season of life. Hi there, I'm Wendy Rimmelspacher, and welcome to the podcast show, Dim to Daring. Do you feel like there's something bigger waiting for you, but you're not sure how to make it happen? You're in the right place. I'm here to bring you inspiring stories, powerful insights, and practical strategies to help you reignite your spark, realign with your purpose, and take those bold steps towards the life you were meant to live. Let's dive in, because you're not finished yet. You're just getting started. Hi, and welcome back to Dim to Daring. I'm your host, Wendy Rimmelspacher. If no one's told you today, let me be the first. You're courageous and powerful, my friend. I'm starting off with the question I want you to sit with. Are you using your power or giving it away without even realizing it? I didn't know I was giving mine away. Not until I found myself absorbing everyone else's stress, fixing things nobody asked me to fix, and leaving gatherings wondering if I even mattered. No matter how much I poured into my work, my leaders, my team, my family, and my friends, I didn't feel like I was truly honoring and empowering myself to my fullest potential. And I know I wasn't alone. So many others around me were doing the same. Staying quiet, holding back their ideas, and playing small. Have you ever felt that way? If you have, you're not alone. In fact, a KPMG study found that 3 out of 4 women say they've experienced imposter syndrome at some point in their careers. And over 80% say they put more pressure on themselves not to fail than men do. This kind of internalized pressure makes it so easy to stay silent, hold back, and downplay our own potential, even when something down deep is whispering, "You're made for more." And this habit often follows women into retirement if it isn't recognized and addressed earlier, robbing them of a chance to start a new chapter of life at any age. Recognizing this pattern is the very first step towards breaking free and embracing your true potential. If this sounds like you, this might be a turning point, just like it was for me when I realized I was sabotaging my own happiness. And this isn't just work-related. This applies to other areas in life as well. Today, I want to delve into something more profound than just energy. I'm talking about your personal power. The kind that shapes how you show up, how you lead, and how you move forward in life, work, and everything in between. Let me say this loud and clear. You might feel drained, and not because you're doing too much, but because you're abandoning yourself. And this isn't just about your job. It's about how you're living, how you're showing up in your relationships, whether you're tuning into your intuition or tuning it out. Reclaiming your power? Well, that's a skill worth mastering at any age and in any season of life. So you might be wondering, what is personal power? The word power is often confused with authority or control, and rightly so because it's used in this context most often. But personal power is something else entirely. It's your inner strength. And it shows up as your confidence, self-belief, authenticity, and respect. Respect for yourself as well as for others. Personal power fuels your voice, your decisions, and your presence. Whether you're leading a meeting, making a career shift, starting a side hustle, or even dreaming up your next exciting chapter. So here's a gentle reminder you already know deep down. You don't need a title, a promotion, or anyone's permission to claim your power and step into your next chapter on your own terms. Because no matter where you are in life, climbing the ladder, stepping off the ladder, building your own ladder, or redefining what your next chapter looks like, retirement included, your power is already within you, and it's time to reclaim it. Power isn't just for the workplace. It's how you move through the world. It's how you make decisions, how you show up for yourself and for what matters. So don't tell yourself you're too late, too old, or too new at this. This is your reminder. Your voice still matters. Your contribution, it still matters too. And you are allowed to evolve. No one else holds the key to your success, your joy, or your energy. Only you do. Do you know about the quiet ways we lose our power? Well, it doesn't happen dramatically. More often, it slips away in silence. It's the second guessing we do and the over-processing. It shows up in so many various ways, but here's a few. The polite yes we say when our whole body is saying no. The self-editing to avoid judgment. And the apologizing for having a need, an opinion, or simply existing. Let's pause here. Here's something that blew my mind when I first learned it. Did you know that only 7% of your credibility comes from your actual words you speak? And 38% comes from your tone, meaning your energy, confidence, and conviction. The rest, the 55%, comes from your physical presence, which is your posture, eye contact, and how you carry yourself. So if you've been holding back, waiting to find the right words or to feel more prepared, here's your permission slip to stop overthinking it. Your presence already holds power, so go ahead. Take up more space, speak with conviction, and dare to be fully seen. Because when you do, you don't just speak, you shine. But when you consistently downplay yourself, you're also teaching others to do the same. What are some common power leaks? Well, here are some sneaky ways we give away our power. Saying yes out of guilt, even when your gut says no. Apologizing for doing your job or taking up space. Shrinking your voice in rooms where it's most needed. Letting fear overrule your intuition. And over-explaining to feel acceptable instead of just asking for what you need. Do any of these sound familiar? They sure did to me. There was a time I looked composed on the outside, but inside I was dimming. I remember one specific day during a weekly leadership meeting. This meeting claimed to be a safe place for innovation, honest discussion, and collaborative problem solving. But in reality, it was anything but that. It was a good old boys club where open dialogue was simply a performance. Most of the women and some of the men had adopted a quiet routine. Show up, sit down, say little, and leave quickly. It didn't feel like a place for bold voices or fresh ideas. We weren't the A-team. We were just going through the motions and trying to escape a harsh attack or confrontation in this setting. But one day, I made a different choice, and it was very intentional. You see, I was so tired of shrinking, wasting an hour, and not fully participating. I decided to speak up. It sounds like a simple forward move made, but it felt so big to break my status quo persona at these meetings. So when a colleague shared an idea, I chimed in confidently, and I built on her thought with genuine support and an additional insight. And to my delight, she received it warmly with a look of gratitude. And in that moment, I saw a new way forward, a new way for me to be me and not shrink in those meetings, but to participate and feel like my voice mattered. That small act began to shift the dynamic, and not just for me, but for others who had been silently holding back. So this day, I was reminded that every time I ignore my truth and shrink into silence, when I let fear or discomfort take over, I'm handing the mic to someone else, and I lose a bit of myself. And it doesn't just happen at work. It happens around the dinner table, when you downplay your ideas, when you ignore your intuition to pivot or begin a new chapter, when you keep saying yes to keep the peace, and when you trade your voice for approval. Maybe it's saying nothing when a family member crosses a boundary again, or always being the one to accommodate even when your plate is full. These moments might seem small, but they accumulate and they chip away at your spark, just like the big ones. I've been there. I've made choices that went against my intuition, thinking I was doing the right thing for the team, for the mission, for my family. But for me, I was abandoning my needs. I was abandoning my values, my voice, and certainly my spark. And even now, I still catch myself and self-correct. Because power leaks happen quietly, subtly, and slowly. But remember this, you are not meant to shrink. You are not meant to blend in, nod along, or edit yourself into a version that makes everyone else comfortable. You are meant to speak with clarity, lead with intention, and live with presence. Not just someday, not when the timing's perfect, not when you've, quote unquote, earned it. You are meant to speak up for yourself now, today. So if you've been waiting for permission, here it is. Take up space, friend. Speak your truth and trust your gut. And know that it gets easier each time. Because every time you do, your inner spark grows stronger. And one bold voice, yours, can illuminate a whole room. And your personal power, well, it's beautiful, my friend. What are the costs of power leaks, you might be asking? Giving away your power doesn't just exhaust you. It creates resentment. It chips away at your confidence. It clouds the vision you once had for your life, and eventually you stop trusting yourself. That voice inside, the one that used to whisper, "You've got this," well, it fades, and sometimes it disappears completely. But it's not too late to change this. You can take back your power. Every single day, you get to start again. Here's a quick power leak inventory. I just have 5 simple little questions to reset. So let's do a self-check. Grab a pen and paper, or close your eyes and reflect. Unless, of course, you're driving right now. Then please continue driving and listen, and you can jot down notes later. Okay, here we go. The first question, where are you shrinking to keep the peace? 2, who gets to decide how you spend your time? Your calendar, your energy, you or someone else? 3, what are you tolerating that's quietly draining you? 4, what part of yourself have you muted to avoid judgment. And 5, where have you stopped asking for what you need? Hopefully you had some quick answers to these questions that were just right on the surface, and you'll know exactly where you need to put some attention to stop the leaking. And this is not about blame. It's totally about awareness. And awareness is where your power begins. So what now? Well, I like to call these daring steps. These are small, powerful choices that reclaim your energy. Try one of these this week. Say no without explaining. Speak last in a meeting so you can listen fully and own your perspective. Or don't reply to a text immediately. Give yourself space to respond with intention. Give it some thought and see what resonates with you. These aren't huge dramatic moves, but they're bold in their own way and they build momentum. You start taking back your power, not all at once and not perfectly. One choice at a time. It starts building a habit, a good habit, a healthy habit. Here's what that could look like for you. You pause before saying yes and ask, does this align with my energy, my values, and my season of life? You stop apologizing for existing. Your presence isn't a disruption. It's a contribution for the betterment of a connection or relationship. You speak up, even if your voice shakes, not because it's easy, but because it matters. You listen to your intuition. That nudge you've been ignoring, well, it's not random. It's wisdom, and it's being true to yourself. Remember, you matter. Reclaiming your power doesn't mean being louder. It means being real. It's about standing tall in your own skin and saying, this is me, I know what matters, and I'm done abandoning myself. Because when you stop shrinking, you don't just rise, you lead, you light up. And when you do, you give others permission to do the very same. In fact, you become a role model, whether you realize it or not, to your mom, your aunt, your cousins, daughters, nieces, neighbors, and coworkers, and various others. Don't be afraid. It's all good. Here's what I hope lands deeply for you today. When you stay silent, filter your thoughts, or play small, you're not just dimming your voice. You're dimming your personal power. But every time you choose to speak up and trust your gut and show up as you reclaim that power. You are the one who reignites your spark. Daring isn't about never feeling fear. It's about showing up anyway, even when your voice shakes, because you know you're worth it. You weren't made to tiptoe through your one bold, beautiful life. You were made to live it with clarity, courage, and unapologetic presence. Your power was never meant to be tucked away or handed off. It was meant to shine bright and light the way for others. So no matter where you are in life, you're never too old to grow, evolve, and step into more of who you really are. So stop dimming your light. Start daring to be fully, boldly you. Because when you do, you naturally draw in the people, opportunities, and energy that align with your truth and the friends who lift and inspire you. Claim it, live it, and never shrink to fit someone else's expectations again. You were born to shine. And here's your reminder for the week. You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Let this be your guide in saying yes, in saying no, and in showing up exactly as you are. Until next time, keep daring to be more you. Thank you so much for joining me today on Dim to Daring. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love it if you subscribed, shared it with a friend, or left a review. It helps more women just like you discover the show. Remember, you're not finished yet, you're just getting started. Until next time, keep daring to grow and shine.